Alright, so today we're talking about Escape from Tomorrow, and this is certainly maybe the most interesting film to come out in recent years. It cost $650,000, and it's the writing-directing debut of Randy Moore. This has been called a fantasy horror film, but I'm not even sure it would fit that description. The story is of this middle-aged man who is on the last day of his vacation with his family at Walt Disney World, yes, the theme park. He eyes these two French girls who are really young, and he lusts after them. He obsesses over them and tries to follow them around whenever their paths cross. He also appears to hallucinate disturbing images within the park, including of Disney characters and paraphernalia on rides and other strange visions. Now, this film has become very notable once it premiered at Sundance for one major reason, and I wouldn't call it controversy, but it definitely has brought up a lot of discussion and debate about the fate of the film. Randy Moore has big balls, man. He did something that I couldn't ever imagine doing if I were a filmmaker. Basically, he took his cast and his crew, went to Disney World and Disneyland, they combined them in the movie, and he shot there. He filmed the movie there without permission from Disney. What? Now, if you know Disney, you know they're fiercely protective of their properties and their self-image. They want to present a happy, clean image that's family-friendly, and this film is a big contrast to that. So it's safe to say, and a lot of people agreed once this film premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, it wasn't going to get very much past that. It would never see a major release. I was very excited to see this movie, and I was very fortunate to be in the right place at the right time, and I was able to see this movie at Ebert Fest. But the film is, surprisingly, I must admit, I'm very shocked, it's getting a release. It's coming to all video-on-demand platforms on October 11th, so you will be able to check it out, and that's why I'm reviewing it. Now, given the film's incredible and fascinating, documentary-worthy production, seriously, go look it up on Wikipedia, just go. And the media tension surrounding its guerrilla nature, dancing around legal issues with Disney's notoriously protective self-image, this film has undeniably set a high bar of interest and expectations, which is understandable. I was in the same boat. But just go in, understand what you have in your head is probably unrealistic. I wouldn't have missed it for the world. I'm glad I was able to see it. But you're probably wondering, was the film good or did it suck? Was it nothing more than a gimmick? It's important to understand that this film is not for everyone. I had an awesome time. I had an awesome crowd. It got great reactions. But I did hear afterward some people said they were disappointed. I liked it. It has its flaws, for sure. But I think it definitely overcomes most of them for several reasons. There's not much of a plot, the pacing varies, the acting is just okay, and it changes, which, is kind of understandable given the circumstances under which the movie was filmed. The biggest thing this movie has going for it, not the only thing, but the biggest thing, is its location and its weird, hypnotic feeling. It's one of those movies that's just odd, and it has a charm because of it. There's trippy visuals that make the film feel like a nightmare, there's bizarre sexual imagery, there's what-the-fuck moments of hilarity. It's just a surreal experience, and it's entertaining on that level. It feels experimental and it has that cult film appeal. I really like the monochrome photography. Filming in black and white would seem like a more pretentious choice for most filmmakers now, given that movies aren't made in black and white anymore. Everything's in color. So when a film like this comes along and it fits, it's special, and in this case it's really unique. It fits the film's dreamlike atmosphere. The cinematography is worth mentioning for obvious reasons. You'll be sitting there throughout the film going, oh my god, or how did they get that shot? Because bear in mind, they actually had to attend the park like real tourists and secretly film with a Canon camera. They had mics hidden under their clothing. They had the script on iPads. They could only take so many takes before arousing suspicion. The actors are interacting with actual tourists, real people walking around and going on rides, not paid extras. Yes, to answer your question, they actually managed to film on some of the rides. It's ridiculous, the planning that went into this. There are some shots that are filmed in front of a green screen and it's pretty obvious, but for the most part, the movie takes place inside the park. You feel like a voyeur, and those are some of the most interesting movies in my opinion, and this one fits that for sure. It's just weird to watch this film and none of these people around them have any idea that they're in a movie. A welcome surprise in this movie was the amount of comedy, which I wasn't expecting at all. This movie was actually pretty funny. There was actually a lot of sarcastic humor, but there's also a lot of what the fuck humor, and there's a lot of dark humor. It combined a lot of different styles of comedy, and it just made the experience, excuse me, that much more fun. So it's not a completely strange movie that would alienate every audience out there. It definitely has a lot of things that people would like. I must mention the score, which was interesting. It takes cues from 1930s Golden Age Hollywood movies, and it strangely just works. It fits the movie, and it's a very well done score. I mentioned this film cost $650,000, which is definitely a low budget in the world of Hollywood. So understandably, the CG effects are kind of poor. But it works for the movie. I understand it's an independent film, and again, it adds to the charm of the movie. Now, I already stated some flaws, but there are some more. Escape from Tomorrow, it lacks much sense or coherence. There's just some plot points that were just kind of weird to me, and they flew over my head. I didn't understand them. I didn't know what the director was going for with those moments in the story. Also, some moments were apparently supposed to be funny, and people did laugh. People were laughing throughout the movie. I just didn't understand them. I didn't get the humor in those scenes. So there were some weird parts that just seemed like they were just being weird to be weird, and they were supposed to be funny, I guess, but I didn't catch it. Also, the film takes a sudden turn toward the end, and it just gets weird, and it's just, I don't know, I didn't quite get it again. And this film has themes going on. It comments on America's obsession with ubiquitous entertainment. There's hints of childhood innocence lost, having to suppress sexual urges toward youth to be accepted in society. Escape from Tomorrow depicts a negative, disturbing outlook on the Disney theme parks. No question about it. No one can be that happy all the time. For a child, it may be the happiest place on earth, but for an adult, it may be a little weird, and you know what? I can kind of understand that now. Escape from Tomorrow is the kind of film destined for the underground festival circuit. It will be crap to some, and to be fair, it does have its shortcomings, but to me, it makes up for that with its unique style and unconventional filmmaking ambition. It feels like a home movie, and it has one backdrop, but it's also very entertaining and delightfully peculiar. Not in that kind of quirky way, but just a weird what the F kind of way. Some of it doesn't work, but you have to admire the effort. Nothing like this has ever been done, not to this degree and in this way. The behind the scenes, to be honest, is a little more interesting, which is a disservice to the film, but you can't help but get it out of your mind while watching, and it does kind of aid the enjoyment of the film if you have a little history, a little backstory. Still, Escape from Tomorrow manages to hold your attention, and it stands on its own. It's by no means a masterpiece, but it still deserves a watch out of you. It's such an oddity that you need to see it, but not everyone will like it. I'm in a strange place with this movie, but I couldn't get it out of my head after seeing it. I couldn't help but just be drawn to it, and that's a testament to the filmmakers, because that's a rare compliment these days. Unfortunately, it will not be in theaters. If it does happen at some point, likely it won't be many, which sucks, because this is a film that deserves a big audience. If you're sitting at home and watching on your TV or your computer for the first time, it kind of diminishes the impact. Additionally, the version that you will end up watching if you decide to pay for this movie on demand will be 15 minutes shorter than the version that was screened at Sundance and Eberfest where I viewed it. Some things have been cut, apparently. I hope none of the Disney iconography or funny weird stuff has been cut, but there were some spots that were, you know, a little slower, so I could see them cutting out some things, but I really hope they don't take out anything major. I wonder if that was something that had to happen in order for this movie to get limited release, so who knows. But maybe I'll do a video at some point kind of comparing the two versions. It'll be a little foggy since it's been like 4 months since I've seen the movie. It'll be even more when it comes out in October. But I'll do my best, and maybe I'll get Ben to watch it with me and we'll do an I Have He Hasn't together. I hope Disney will continue to just leave the film alone, and maybe it eventually will secure a Blu-ray release. I hope. Maybe a limited numbered one or something, you know. it deserves it. So that was my review of Escape from Tomorrow. Went on a little longer than I thought, but thank you for watching. I hope you found it interesting. It was fun to talk about this movie because it is seriously one of the most interesting movies I've seen in quite a while. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Stay tuned, I will have more reviews coming your way.